Hi, I'm Dr. John Izzo, co-host of the Way Forward Regenerative Conversations podcast. Given the events of the last week in the United States that have reverberated around the world, we felt it was important to have a special reflection on this particular moment in time and what it says about what we need going forward, which is really what our podcast is all about. First of all, we want to send out our prayers and thoughts to the former president and to his family, and of course to those who were killed or injured at that tragic event in Pennsylvania this past week. In the days following the attempted assassination of former President Trump, a narrative has emerged about how this event demonstrated his strength. To those who have this view, that strength is captured forever in the iconic image of his fist raised with bloodied face, yelling the words, "Fight, fight, fight." Republicans at their convention right now are speaking that this is just the kind of strong leader that we need for these times in which we find ourselves. The narrative has a simple and perhaps powerful theme: Trump the strong and Biden the weak. One man raises his fist and calls us to fight even with a gun wound, while the other can't even get off the stage without the help of his wife. Elon Musk, on the back of his large $45 million a month donation to support Trump in battleground states, finally came out to formally endorse him, comparing him to Theodore Roosevelt and saying he is just the kind of strong leader we need. I admit I admire the ex-president's sense of timing and presence of mind in that moment to make that gesture, one that will undoubtedly pass the test of time. Yet all of this raises a more profound question. What exactly is strength? And what kind of strength is required from leaders for the times that we face? And as someone who has spent 40 years studying leadership and coaching leaders, I couldn't help but ask that question. It occurs to me the kind of strength that people are attributing to Donald Trump right now is a very particular masculine form of strength. Not just about men or male versus female, but what has historically been associated with masculinity. It's a strength based on a feeling that you have a corner on the truth. It's a strength that sees the world as those who are for us or against us. It sees the world in terms of winners and losers. Masculine strength has always been and is about muscle, virility, and having a powerful, clear voice. This kind of strength calls us to fight, to raise our fist. But I couldn't help but ask myself, who exactly are we fighting against? And if we think about it, this masculine form of leadership has really guided Western civilization for most of the centuries that have preceded us. But there's another kind of strength that comes from the historic feminine. This kind of strength is very different. This strength comes from humility and curiosity, not feeling you know the answer, but being curious about what the answer might be. This strength is based on the ability to pull people together, even amidst differences, to accomplish great things. In this view of strength, strength would be a strong set of enduring values lived throughout a life, in both public and in private. And most of all, this strength comes from the deep capacity to listen, not merely the booming voice of speech. And it seems to me that the moment that we are living in right now requires more of the latter kind of strength. Think about it for a moment. The world must come together now to solve vexing problems like the advance of authoritarianism, solving the climate crisis while still creating economic prosperity for billions of people. And in the United States, bringing a country that has meaningful differences and is deeply divided to somehow come together to find common ground and solve the problems and challenges that we face for our children and grandchildren. You see, I think the times we live in require humility, not certainty, because complex system problems will require all of us to stay with the challenges long enough to get beyond the simplest solutions. And we live in a time now when America will not be admired around the world simply because we have wealth or the greatest armies or armaments. We will be admired because people want to be like us, to emulate us. And as someone who travels around the world regularly speaking to leaders in the corporate world, I can tell you right now, most of the rest of the world does not want to create a society like the deeply divided one we seem to have created. So I'm not saying who you should vote for, but I will say this. I think Elon Musk was right. This is the time that we need strong leaders. But maybe we all ought to ponder and ask, what exactly is the kind of strength we need in this moment in which we live? It's a great question, and we'd love to hear from you.